I will begin this story by explaining that what I'm about to write, while may not be that bone chilling, was a true experience to not only me, but a couple of people around me. Everyone has their plans for Independence Day, and for a lot of us that means firework watching or launching. While my family and I would usually launch off quite a few, we weren't able to obtain any during this time because you have to go to South Carolina in order to get any, as we live in Virginia. Being July 4th, and without any fun to shoot off our own, we decided to go to a local park that has small mountains from what used to be a landfill that was hosting its own firework display for anyone to watch. By the time we got there, it was pretty packed, and about 7:30, other than the chilly winds, the night was like many other summer nights here in the city. I was only about 12 at the time, so I was absolutely impatient about the show. Alas, the display of vibrant explosions starts 10 minutes later than scheduled. Sadly, the display was not as incredible as I imagined it, but if it had been, I would have overheard this man next to me on the phone who was trying to get connections to NASA. As everyone knows, July 4th is a national holiday, therefore any federal agencies would be closed. It then hit me that he must have had a reason to try and call NASA, and luckily it did, as he was pointing out something in the sky to his young son. I immediately saw exactly what he was looking at, and was just shocked and confusion. There was what appeared to be one bright light, larger than the stars by a hair, that seemed to accelerate light speed in a straight line, then disappear completely. The light would then show up again in the same spot it disappeared, and then dart off in an angle the other way and dissipate as once before. Then once more it lit up, then darted back to the original place I saw it. I couldn't believe my eyes. Whatever I was witnessing was making complete triangles in the sky at high speeds. At this point, the man next to me was trying all sorts of observatories and space observation, which I think one of them might have been WFF. These strange lights kept going on for roughly 15 to 20 minutes. They amused me so much that I completely forgot about the subpar fireworks display. The strangest part of it all was that it seemed to run over the same path that it had before. It never did anything beyond the triangular path of shooting and dimming that it had done before. It never made a sound, and if it did, it would be very possible that either the fireworks would overpower it, or it was just too far away. A few months down the line, we had gone on vacation to somewhere in North Carolina with extended family from my mom's side. Apparently one of my relatives, like a great aunt or something like that, had a friend who actually worked for NASA, and overheard me talking about the story. She immediately called up her friend for me to talk to, which being 12 and talking to a NASA employee was the coolest thing ever. This woman had been working for NASA for something like 10-15 years, and I never really figured out the field she was in specifically. First I asked her if anything was reported or seen the night of July 4th, which she softly and simply explained that there had not been anything reported. I frankly told my story the best that I could, explaining that the light would dim out, then shine again as it burst in other directions. She took a deep breath and then softly said, "Do you think they were flares?" Apparently satellites drop flares often, but for an obvious reason, what I saw were no flares. She didn't explain that flares would only go in one direction across the sky, almost reassuring me that either I did or I didn't see flares. The last thing she said to me of significance was, "Whatever you saw, you don't need to worry about it." To this day, I can still remember it clear as water. I know what I saw, and I know I wasn't the only one. I know that what I saw wasn't a plane, or flares, or a satellite passing over. What I saw was going at incredible amounts of speed, in the same path over and over again, and violently dimming out. Now you know my story, and maybe, just maybe, someone had the same experience as me. Until then, what I saw will remain unknown.